Namaste. In our body, many systems we can see. That is a respiratory system, reproductive system, circulatory system, and one more is the excretory system. So these systems works together. A large number of waste products are formed during metabolic activities in our body. Large amount of carbon dioxide is formed and is thrown out through the respiratory system, as well as the large amount of unwanted waste materials will form by the breakdown of the food substances. It may be the carbohydrate, fats, proteins, they will break down and it produces the unwanted substances. It also thrown out from our body through the digestive system. At the same time, nitrogenous waste such as ammonia, urea, uric acid also form during metabolism of proteins and other complex nitrogenous compounds. These nitrogenous products become toxic or poisonous or harmful if retained in our body. So, we have to throw out from our body this nitrogenous waste product. So, there is a special system that is the excretory system. Through the excretory system, we are throwing the nitrogenous waste products which are formed during metabolism of proteins and other complex nitrogenous compound. In today's class, we are going to study about excretory system, the meaning of excretion, and what are the importance of this excretory system, and organs which are involved in the excretory system. Next, excretion. What is the meaning of this excretion? Excretion nothing but the process of removal of chemical waste, especially nitrogenous waste, from the body is known as excretion. Excretion is the process of removal of chemical waste from the body is known as excretion. Here chemical waste means especially nitrogenous waste. Now what are the importance of this excretion or this excretory system? First one, it plays important role in maintaining the homeostatic condition of the body. Homeostatic condition means steady state, means to maintain the internal environment in a constant manner. So to maintain the internal environment of the body in a constant manner, so this excretion system is very important. And also it helps to maintain the balance between inorganic ions and water. To maintain the balance between inorganic ions and water. As well as it also helps to maintain the acid-base balance in our body. To maintain the acid-base balance in our body, this excretory system or this excretion process is very important. And organs which are involved in this excretion process, so that organs are together called excretory system. Substances to be eliminated. There are several substances which are not used by the body. The removal of which from the body is essential, since otherwise they become toxic. If we not remove that waste substances, if it accumulate in our body, it become harmful to our body. Now we can study one by one. The first one is carbon dioxide and water. Every living cell liberates energy by oxidizing glucose with the production of carbon dioxide and water. So when the food will breaks down, it releases the carbon dioxide and water. This carbon dioxide is eliminated through the lungs. With the help of the respiratory system, carbon dioxide is eliminated from our body. The extra water is released out of the body in the form of sweat. So what are the extra water is there? It also released from our body in the form of sweat. So carbon dioxide and excess water, it also acts as one of the waste materials in our body. Second one, nitrogenous waste. This includes urea, uric acid, and ammonia. These are produced mainly in the liver from the dead protein remains of the other tissues that are brought to it. Here, urea, the production of urea takes place in the liver region, because in the liver, so remaining proteins will breaks down. What are the proteins content will remain, it will breaks down and it releases the urea, as well as the proteins also which are left out from the different parts of the tissues, it also comes to the liver region. In the liver region, ultimately the breakdown of the proteins takes place and releases the urea. Any extra amino acids, that is digestion products of protein, cannot be stored in the body. Here in the liver you can see excess glucose is there, means it can be converted into glycogen, it will stored in the liver. But if the excess amino acids are there, it cannot be stored in our body. They are break down in the liver to produce usable glucose and the urea. Excess amino acid is breaks down in the liver region and releases the glucose and urea. That has to be excreted out. Urea is highly poisonous. If allowed to accumulate in the blood to a certain level, it causes death. If the accumulation of urea increases in our body, it causes the death. That's why urea is excreted out through the kidneys. So urea is dangerous in our body if it accumulates. So we have to throw out through the kidney. So this is the nitrogenous waste products produced in our body. Next, excess salts. Common salts, that is sodium chloride, and some water soluble salts such as sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and some are water soluble vitamins, especially B and C, need to be eliminated. Salts are mainly given out through the kidneys. The few amount of salts are given out in the form of sweat, but more amount of salts are mainly given out through the kidneys in the form of urine. Next, water. Excess water taken in with food and beverages is removed. The removal of such water is useful as it helps in dissolving the harmful material which otherwise cannot be excreted out of the body. So, if you consume the excess water in the form of food as well as beverages, so this excess water, it dissolves some of the waste materials. And if you remove this excess water, along with this water, so dissolved waste materials also come out from our body. Some of the waste materials, if it is in solid form, our body cannot be thrown these waste materials. So that's why excess water, it helps to dissolve these waste materials. So that's why excess water we have to throw out from our body, because it contains some of the harmful substances which dissolved in it. Next, bile pigment. Bile pigments are the breakdown products of the hemoglobin of the dead RBCs. The liver cells extract it from the circulation and secrete it into the bile juice poured into the duodenum through the common bile duct. These pigments are modified in the intestine to pigments that give feces their yellowish brown color. Some of these pigments are excreted in urine. You have seen last year in the digestive system how the bile pigments will produce and what will happen. So in the liver, these bile pigments is combined with the bile juice, and this bile pigment, it gives the yellowish brown color to the feces, as well as the remaining amount of this bile pigment, it is along with the urine, it will come out from our body. Here, vitamins and hormones are also eliminated from the body in urine. Excess of vitamins and hormones are eliminated from the body in urine. So that's why in most of the cases they will do the urine test. because in the urine we will come to know which are the hormones is released, as well as which are the vitamins is released. So we can come to know what which content is excess. We can come to know by the urine test. As well as the drugs also, excess of drugs and their breakdown products are removed by the kidneys. So excess drugs also is breaks down in the kidneys region. So if you do the urine test, so we will come to know. Next, the excretory organs. Excretion in humans is brought about by the following organs. First one is kidneys. These are the primary excretory organs, eliminating nitrogenous waste from the blood and throwing it out in the form of urine. The kidney main function is removal of the nitrogenous waste product from the body. Next, sweat glands. Excretion by sweat glands is incidental. These glands are primarily concerned with the cooling, that is called thermoregulation. The sweat secreted also carries with it small amount of nitrogenous waste. Sweat glands pass out sweat only when required for cooling. So truly they are not excretory. Here sweat glands, it also produces the sweat. In the sweat it removes the few amount of nitrogenous waste product. Why we are sweating? The sweating is because to cool our body or to maintain the constant temperature of the body, that is called as the thermoregulation. To maintain the constant temperature of our body, we are sweating. While sweating, it also removes the some of the nitrogenous waste materials. Here it is not a excretory function. So we are sweating because to maintain the constant body temperature. So along with the sweat, the some nitrogenous waste products also comes. Next, lungs. Excretion by lungs in the form of carbon dioxide released in the expired air. During the respiration, lungs receives the oxygen, at the same time it give out the carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide is eliminated from our body through the lungs. Next, human excretory system. The human excretory system consists of 4 important parts: kidneys, ureters, urinary bladder and urethra. The first we can study external structure of kidney. First one, location. A pair of kidneys is located one on either side of the backbone, just above the waist, and is protected by the last 2 ribs. The kidney is located on either side of the backbone and just above the waist region, and it is protected by the last 2 ribs. This is the location of kidneys. Next, shape of the kidneys. Kidney is bean shaped organ and which are 10 centimeter long, 6 centimeter wide and 3 centimeter thick. It is reddish brown in color. Their inner concave side face each other. The left kidney is usually placed a little higher than the right one. Here, right and left kidney both are not equal in size, means not equal in position. Here, left kidney is slightly higher position than the right kidney, because in the right side of the body, liver occupies the place. So that's why right kidney is slightly lower in position when compared to left kidney. But both the kidneys are same size, but their position is little bit changed. Here left kidney is slightly higher than right kidney, because in the right side of the body the liver occupies this place. That's why right kidney is slightly lower in position when compared to left kidney. Kidneys are convex laterally and concave medially. On the concave side, there is a longitudinal knot called hilum. in the concave side there is a longitudinal knot is there, that is called as a hilum. That is called as a renal hilum also. Renal hilum nothing but it is a point at which the ureter and renal vein exit the kidney and the renal artery enters the kidney. This renal hilum is a point where the ureter as well as the renal vein is coming out from the kidney region, and the same in the hilum region the renal artery enters inside the kidney. So that is a renal hilum. Here renal artery, it supplies the oxygenated blood to the kidney and it contains the nitrogenous waste product. And renal vein, it carries the deoxygenated blood from the kidney. It contains the least nitrogenous waste product. Next, ureters. They are tubular structures emerging from the medial surface of each kidney. Each ureter is made up of smooth muscle fibers and connects the kidney to the base of the urinary bladder. It is a connection between the kidney and urinary bladder. It is responsible for transporting urine from the kidneys to the urinary bladder. Here it transfers the urine from kidney to the urinary bladder. It is a tube-like structure. It connects between the kidney and urinary bladder. Muscles in the ureter walls produce peristalsis, which helps in the onward passage of urine. Here the muscle which is present in the ureter, it shows the peristalsis movement. So with the help of this peristalsis movement, it pushes the urine to the urinary bladder region. Backflow of urine is prevented by valve present at the opening. At the opening of this ureter, it has a valve. So this valve prevents the backflow of this urine. Next, urinary bladder. It is a large, thin-walled, highly distensible muscular bag-like organ situated at the lower end of the abdomen. It is a bag-like structure and it is present lower end of the abdomen region. Its outlet is normally closed by a tight ring of muscle called sphincter muscle. Here opening of the urinary bladder, it has one of the muscle that is called sphincter muscle. It tightly closes this opening. So when the urine will come through the ureter, then it will open and it is filled in the urinary bladder region. Later it will close. Look at the diagram of the human urinary system or excretory system. We can see a pair of kidney, a pair of ureter, urinary bladder and urethra. Above both the kidney, we can see one of the gland that is called adrenal gland. It comes under the endocrine system. Above both the kidney, we can see a cap-like gland that is called as adrenal gland. And here you can see the aorta. Aorta supplies the oxygenated blood. When it comes near to the kidney, aorta divides, it forms a branch that is called as renal artery. It supplies the oxygenated blood to both the kidney. And in the another way, we can see the posterior vena cava. So this posterior vena cava, it carries the deoxygenated blood from both the kidney. So through the renal vein. The renal vein, it supplies the deoxygenated blood from kidney to posterior vena cava. And you can see the ureter, it connects between the kidney as well as the urinary bladder. And we can see the sphincter muscle is there in the opening of the urethra region. Next, internal structure of kidney. When we see the longitudinal section of kidney, we can see the two important regions. The outer part is called as renal cortex and inner part is called renal medulla. So if they related to the kidney, you have to use the word renal. That's why outer part is renal cortex, inner part is renal medulla. First, renal cortex. Renal cortex is the outermost layer of the or outermost part of the kidney, and it is a dark in color. It is a dark in color. It is the outermost region of the kidney. And this cortex has a dotted appearance because Bowman's capsule and proximal convoluted tubules, they are lie in the renal cortex region. That's why they give dotted appearance to the renal cortex. So Bowman's capsule and proximal convoluted tubule, I will explain it later. Next, renal medulla. Renal medulla, it is the inner part of the kidney. It is made up of a finely striped substance arranged in conical pyramids. Here, medulla, it contains a finely striped, means straight line structure. They are arranged like a pyramid. The apex of the pyramid projecting into the pelvis of the kidney. Apex means tip part of the pyramid. The tip part of the pyramid is called papilla. This papilla projects into the pelvis of the kidney. What is this pelvis? Pelvis nothing but the front end of the ureter is expanded into the kidney region. The ureter is a tube-like structure. So when this ureter enters inside the kidney region, it will expand. That expanded portion is called as pelvis. The expanded part of the ureter, when it enters inside the kidney, that expanded part is called as a pelvis. So in the pelvis region, this apex of the pyramids projects. So the pyramids we can see in the renal medulla region. In the renal medulla region, it has a finely striped structure. Why it is striped? Because the remaining part of the nephron, especially loop of Henle and collecting duct, they are located in the renal medulla region. They are tube-like structure. That's why renal medulla we can see a striped-like structure. But in the renal cortex, it has a dotted appearance because in the renal cortex, Bowman capsule and proximal convoluted tubules are located. This proximal convoluted tubules and Bowman's capsule, they are highly coil-like structure. So they give a dotted appearance. But the here loop of Henle and the collecting duct, they are straight line. That's why they give the striped-like appearance for the renal medulla. I will explain in detail in the next class.
Human excretory system. For sustenance and maintenance of an organism, various life processes must go on at all the times. These processes involve numerous biochemical reactions such as synthesis of proteins, fats, carbohydrates, hormones, etc. These biochemical reactions of the many life processes lead to the production of harmful byproducts which need to be removed out of the body. The biological process involved in the removal of these harmful metabolic wastes from the body is called excretion. Varied strategies are observed in different organisms for excreting out the metabolic waste from the body. In this module, let us learn about the process of excretion in human beings. To understand the excretory system of human beings, we must be aware of its components. The main components of human excretory system are a pair of kidneys located in the lower part of the abdominal cavity, one on either side of the backbone. A pair of ureters, a urinary bladder, and a urethra. The blood from aorta enters into the kidneys via the renal arteries. And after filtration, It returns to the posterior vena cava via renal veins. The nitrogenous wastes such as urea and uric acid are removed from the blood in the kidneys through urine. The urine formed in the kidneys is passed through a pair of ureters into the urinary bladder, where it is stored until being released through the urethra.
In today's class, we have learned about nitrogenous waste product as well as some of the organs which are helpful for the elimination of the waste product from our body, and the definition of excretion, as well as the external structure of our excretory system, that is a kidney, ureter, urinary bladder and urethra. Also you have seen the internal structure of kidney. In the two parts you have seen, that is a renal cortex and renal medulla. So these things are very important.